All right, so let's say you have yourself a nice, beautiful project and you want to save this and you want to put it up on GitHub. I'm going to show you ways that you can screw it up, and I'm going to show you ways you can fix it. There's plenty of videos out there that tell you how to do it right. Let's show you how to do it wrong and then how to fix it if you've done it wrong. First mistake is not closing Unity, but I'm just going to close Unity. Please close Unity. Okay, that project lives here. That's example project. It's over here. This is my project that I've been working on, and I would like to put this up on GitHub. Okay, one way you can do it using GitHub Desktop, you can go and grab yourself you can go create new repository. You can go pick a path. I'm going to pick that example project path. And then I'm going to say my repo. And then I'll choose the gitignore for Unity. Okay, I don't know. Let's do that. Create. So what's that going to do? Show in Explorer. Well, it seemed to have created a directory inside the project here. So it's a project is over here, and then the repo is inside. And my assets are not in there. My whole project is not in there. There's nothing here. So that's a no-no. That's bad. We could fix that by trying to move all this over. That's an option. That is another option. You could take this and you could move it out here, and that can work. Another way that you could have potentially screwed it up is done it the other way around. Let's say you have your repo and it's out here, and then you did maybe something like this where it looks like this. This is also a configuration that I don't recommend. You have your Git, and Git is tracking your project, and that's good. That's all well and good. But here, let me locate this. But check it out. It's everything in the kitchen sink. It's 13,000 changed files. Why? Because the gitignore, which is supposed to ignore certain folders that Unity uses that are automatically generated or full of cache files and stuff like that, it's expecting the library folder, the temp folder, the obj folder, the build folder, these things that we want to ignore. It's expecting those to be in the same directory as the gitignore file, which it is not. It's not in the same place. It's inside example project / that. So if we wanted it to work, we would have to say example project / thing. Okay. All right. That's not right either. But let's say we didn't notice this problem. We didn't notice that we had it set up wrong. And then we end up doing the unthinkable, which is we push this garbage. We could publish this. We could push it without thinking. So I'm going to publish this. This is a mistake, but I will publish it. It already exists. Okay. Example. I will delete this repository afterwards. So here we are. We created this example, and we're gonna not commit contents of library VS folder, etc. But I'm gonna commit it anyway, and I'm gonna push it, which is a mistake to do. Other ways you could accidentally end up pushing these contents of the library folder like this, which you shouldn't push, is maybe you have it set up right, but your gitignore is named wrong. That's possible. If your gitignore is named something else, let's say maybe it could be named gitignore.txt. Whoops. Maybe you accidentally did it this way in a different way, and now you have a .gitignore.txt. Maybe you don't even know that you have it like that because on your operating system settings, you don't have it showing file extensions. and it just looks like it's what it's supposed to be, which is it says .gitignore. Okay, that's the way it is. Maybe you also don't notice that the .git folder is in the wrong place. Maybe you have the hidden files like this, so you can't even tell exactly where the repo is and where it isn't. That could be a problem as well. Or maybe you're mistaking .git attributes for .gitignore. They are not the same thing. Don't make that mistake. Whoops, wrong thing here. If you ever lose track of where the Unity project is, like this one, for example, is not the same location anymore, what you can do is you can hit add project from disk, and you can select the work here. So in my repo, example project is the Unity project. So the directory is a little bit different. So that's another thing you might do well fixing these things. It's not going to matter because I'm going to break it and fix it back again afterwards. But I thought I'd just talk about those things while I commit these and then push these, which is a terrible thing to do. This is a mistake. Please don't do it. We're going to get ourselves in the bad situation, and then we're going to fix it. Okay, so this isn't right. This is problematic because every time you make any tiny little change, it's going to be it's going to make a mess. You know, I'm going to change one thing, and then it's going to cause a whole bunch of change files. Look at this already. Got 65 changed files. I've done like nothing. Let's add a cube. Add a cube. You know. So let's pretend that we added way more and that we want to keep these changes. We don't want to roll back and go back to an earlier version. We still have some changes that we care about. So I added that cube, and then now. Okay, so now let's get ourselves out of this situation and show the way that it should be set up. So let's get ourselves out of this bad situation. First of all, these should be in the same folder. So I'm going to move this over here. And then get rid of that example project folder. This is just going to be my project. And I'm going to change this. This is not going to be my repo. This is going to be my project. This is going to be the whole project. The project is going to be there, and it's going to have its repo in it. I'm going to fix the view show hidden items so I can see that .git folder. That's important. I'm also going to show file extensions. On Windows 10 or different operating systems, it might look different, but that's what you want to look for, file extensions. And you also want to show hidden files. All right, good. So we can always see that .git folder, and we can see that this is not the way it really should be. .gitignore.txt. Okay, maybe I'll fix that. Yes. Now if I have the gitignore on, that should fix things, right? I moved everything the way it should be, and it should fix it. Let's go locate that repository, and then it should be all okay. Okay, let's check it out. My project, select that folder. Uh-oh. It's 13,000 changes, and what are the changes? The changes are, yeah, okay, it's fixed these bits. It's example project should be / library and stuff should be removed. And we should include some of these other things. Let's show. Let's actually show what it looks like on GitHub. Let me show what it looks like on GitHub currently. On GitHub currently, we have example project, and inside there's library folder, which we don't want. If I commit this, this should help us fix our mistakes from earlier. But then I'm going to make some other mistakes and show you those. Okay, so I've committed and pushed this, so it should help a little bit. Now we have assets, packages, project settings, Git attributes, Git ignore, and vsconfig. Okay, this is fine. This is good. Let's make another mistake. Let's make a mistake in a different way. Maybe what you've done by accident is you've got some other thing. Maybe it's called like unity.gitignore. Maybe you went online on GitHub and you downloaded unity.gitignore and it's named this. And what will happen is it's not actually ignoring the files it should be ignoring. But maybe you don't know that. And so, whoops, accidentally you commit this. And then maybe that goes up online, and now you have all those changes. And now on GitHub, now it has a library folder. Uh-oh. Okay, well, we could fix our gitignore. We can fix the name. But fixing the name is not going to fix our problem. So we push the things, but fixing the name isn't necessarily going to fix our problem, because it's just asking them to ignore those folders now, but it wasn't ignored before. So those files are still there. See, we just fixed that bit, but we're telling it to ignore library and logs now. What we need to do, if we have made this mistake, is we want it to not ignore those for now while we get rid of them. So I will actually change the name of this temporarily so that these files are no longer ignored. So there's no more gitignore right now. All right. Now I could actually delete the files that I'm supposed to ignore. And if I want, I can just go look at the contents of this file. I can just go look at the contents of this file to remember what I'm actually supposed to ignore. So library, temp, you'll find those others if they're there, but you just go through this list, right? Library, temp, obj, build, logs, user settings, .vs. I didn't open Visual Studio yet here, so it's not gotten rid of that. The solution file itself is should also be ignored. This will be procedurally generated, so you don't need it. So all those, I can delete them now. I will delete them, and that is so totally safe to do, especially if you accidentally committed them earlier. I mean, then you still can always roll back to it. Not that you should. Okay, so now those are deleted, and because the gitignore isn't working right now, I renamed it so it wasn't working. Now it's actually tracking these file changes that I'm removing the library and these sorts of things. So that will help if I'm working with somebody else and I don't want to push my user settings or my library folder onto them, which will cause problems, right? Okay. Okay, so we should ignore these. Something that I'm going to check off, though, I'm not going to change the gitignores in this commit, because I actually care about removing these things. These are the things I want to do. I want to remove all these files. I don't want to push the change to the gitignore that I did just now, just for example's sake. Okay, you could remove it, you could change the name, whatever. That's just so that it'll track these removals. Now I'll commit these changes. Okay, and after committing these changes, I can push that. And I'm not bothering with this yet. I can push that, and now if I refresh on the repository, this is correct. This is the way it should look. Then I can always go back and say, discard the changes to this gitignore. which was a rename actually. So I'll put it back. Now the gitignore is working again. And then when I open the project, when I open this project, it's going to generate library, it's going to generate logs, packages, all that good stuff. Oh, did I miss? It's going to generate a new solution file. See that there? It generated a new solution file, just named off the folder name. Oh, I think I might have forgotten to save my cube earlier. That's my bad. I think I forgot to save the cube. And I'll have to save this in the new directory that it's in. Since I moved these, I'll have to choose the scene. Oh no, I should be loading the scene. Don't save. Sorry, my cube is here. It's just I didn't click to load the sample scene. Okay. So that should be, everything is back the way it should be. Now, if I go in view on GitHub, everything is okay. My cube is there. I don't have garbage files over there, and everything is named good. Perfect. So now there may be other ways you can set up this GitHub repository. I'd like to show one more. Just for simplicity's sake, right now I'm just going to remove the GitHub repository that is here. I'm literally just going to delete all this stuff here, the Git parts, and I'm just going to make a new repository in place. So one of the mistakes that we made while setting up this project was we decided to create a repo using GitHub Desktop in this location, and GitHub Desktop doesn't work with creating a repository in place. If you want to create a repository in place, as far as I'm aware, you'll just need to go to this directory. So I'm going to go cmd, and I'm going to use the command line to create a repository in place if I already have one here. So I'll type git init. Okay, good. And then I'll just go grab myself that Unity gitignore and include that before I do anything else. And I can just search Unity gitignore. And maybe I can just download this. Okay. Then I have my Unity gitignore. Note, it's not named the way I want. So I'm just gonna call it .gitignore. Change that. Make it just called .gitignore. Okay. Now I'm gonna open an existing repository. So just so you can see what it looks like over here, it's already been initialized. Oh yeah, it's already looking at it. Okay, so there's this. I can also publish it to GitHub from here. Right, it's been initialized. If I want to do in console, I can do git status and see what's going on. All these things are ready to be are changed. These are the folders that are changed and can be added. I can stage it and make a commit just like what I'm doing here by doing git add dot. I'll add all of these things. And then git commit -m initial project commit. Gotta put that in quotations. Okay, and then you can see actually GitHub Desktop can see that now that I've made those changes. Very nice, very nice.